everybody doing? Get your libations ready. I hope you have them in tow. We're not going to be here long because we have another show. Do not forget to tune in on Thursday. Please do not forget. We're going to be doing the book club on. And then you know what? This book wasn't, bad, because really and truthfully, if you haven't gotten through it, so much of getting through it is the charts. So if you can kind of, and I think actually I'll share my criticism about that later. But please, if you have not got your notes together and got what you done got and did what you done did, please go ahead and do that, because we are going to have the conversation. I hope you have your libations ready. We have a hodgepodge of quick things to get through. Foibles and shambles, family. Foibles and shambles. That's how I would like to describe black politics right now on every level. Right? And we're going to get into it. But before we get into it, we got to do our housekeeping. Please hit the like button. If you are in here, hit that like button for me. Please share this with people. It works best if you share the material. Please, if you want to donate, go to donatebrown.com. If you want a shirt, go to adosmerch.com. I'll be sending some of those off tomorrow. You can go to patreon.com/YCarnell. But do not forget, it's a pandemic and I understand. But hitting that like button right now costs you nothing. Costs you absolutely nothing. Hitting that bell, if you have not hit the bell, costs you nothing. If you have not subscribed to the channel, it is absolutely free to do so. So many free ways that could help and cost you nothing. So what is the reason that we got 400 likes and 900 people in the box already? We have things to talk about, right? So, I said foibles and shambles, and I'm kind of kidding, but I'm kind of not. In the sense that we are in a space right now where this is a hodgepodge of mess. And it's a hodgepodge of mess from everybody, from the online revolutionaries, right, who always going to get it popping, but nothing ever pops. And from our own CBC and everybody. So I just wanted to go down the list and then talk about like some of the stuff, like how we gotta, there's no way to get any of this in order without ADOS. That's kind of where we are. But let's just go look at what we're looking at when I talk about the hodgepodge. Now let's take this all the way back. We got to go all the way to somebody is haunting Nicole Hannah-Jones right now. And it is this Tom Cotton senator. Says he called it fake news, quotes how he was quoted on slavery when he said, and I believe the quote, that it was a necessary evil. So he's saying I didn't really say none of that. Now all of this is being said in the context of Donald Trump only deciding to wear masks and apparently get serious about masks because it was his people who were getting sick as opposed to us, right? So when we get sick, it's okay, fine. You can keep everything open. I'm not going to wear a mask. And all of this is in the context, family, because context matters. Never forget that the context of a situation matters. This is the soil that we're talking about. That all these, this is what's happening. And Negroes is out here playing all kind of games. This is no time for games and fun and games and not being specific, but that's where we are. So this is the man who said slavery was a necessary evil, who's coming for the 1619 Project. Now, let's go to what Cotton said, because sometimes, and let's go to who he is. He's a U.S. Senator, Arkansas. But you got to go to something else, right? You have to understand something else. Don't always just look at your present, look to your future. Cotton, seen as a possible 2024 presidential candidate, made the comments in an interview with the Arkansas Democratic Gazette while attacking the New York Times 1619 Project effort to make slavery a focal point of American history in U.S. schools. Now, that's who Mr. Cotton is, and that's who we have to look forward to. Somebody who said slavery and kind of agreed and this and that. We have to look forward to this man being the next one. If y'all think, this is why, listen, let me slow it down for you. Anybody who tells you Trump is a symptom of an American problem, an exaggerated version of that. But understand, as we have this discussion, and this is why black politics has to get its stuff together, it doesn't end with Trump. I know people keep trying to tell you that all we got to do is we just got to get Trump out of there. You know, if we got Trump out of there, it'll be all right. We just got to get him out of there and we're going to get back to normal. As a matter of fact, Biden said that. Biden said some of these segregationists I could talk to and negotiate with. Well, kind of, because he was on the same side. But I can't do nothing with Trump. Understand that this man who is talking about slavery as a necessary evil is coming down the pike. Even though he says he was misquoted, I believe the Gazette, because they done said some stuff and put out some tweets where Cotton said, well, I wasn't really going at y'all. I was just saying the characterization of what I said was wrong. I wasn't really saying nothing about y'all. But my point is this. Do not get fixated and focus on Trump. Trump is not our reparations. He is an American problem. But coming down the pike for your 2024 is this man who says what he says. Now, let's get to something else really quick. Because here's something else. All this is very interesting. All this is very interesting to me. So he tried to call it fake news. Say he didn't say that. He didn't say what you didn't hear. They didn't hear what they thought they said. Of course, he was on Fox when he said it. That is fake news, Brian. That is not what I said, Cotton replied. What I said is that the founding fathers believed that only with the Union and the Constitution could we put slavery on the path to its ultimate extinction. That's exactly what Lincoln said. That don't even sound like anything close to what you said. Now, this is quite a predicament. This is quite a predicament. I'm telling you, it's a predicament. Not necessarily for us, but you think about it this moment, what could have been, don't you? So, you know, shout out to ADOS grievances. What could have been is this. You know, Nicole Hannah-Jones, now she's scrambling and fighting all the time and not having a bunch of defenders. But this is what could have happened. See, you have a shambles. The thing is, this whole thing is in shambles. They, Nicole Hannah-Jones, don't understand. ADOS 3 years of political education was preparing us to fight white supremacy in policy and propaganda. Our 18-month battle with these fringe tethers makes us battle ready. Why ignore such an asset and call black folks trash, but not them? See, you are in shambles. This is just the first part. We're going to get all the way through it. We're going to go all the way through this to Tariq and everything else. It is in shambles because people are being selfish and doing stupid things. So we have a situation that is totally and 100% in shambles. We have a black political apparatus that is totally and 100% in shambles. Nicole Hannah-Jones, I don't even see the blue check showing up for you in any kind of numbers. I don't see people rallying for you and saying leave this project alone, partly because there's a lot that goes along with this. But one of the things that you have to understand that goes along with this is this. You said, and if I can find this, let me see if I can find it. But yes, some things, see, there's a reason why, and this is, you set yourself up for these crazy right wingers, right? Because yes, history isn't always cemented. So there are different historical perspectives, if you will, on all sorts of things. There are all kinds of historical perspectives. But you got to be quiet. See, sometimes you have to be very disciplined when you're going up against white supremacy. That's why Antonio and I mostly deal with facts and data, and we go at people when it's necessary. But we don't always say everything. You don't always have to be online fighting, because if you talk too much, that increases the chances that you might say the wrong thing, Nicole Hannah-Jones. So when you said the 16 Project is a work of journalism that explicitly seeks to challenge the national narrative and not a work of history, you set it up for people to come in and say, well, if it's not a work of history, what is it doing in history class? See, it's sometimes you set yourself up for that. Don't set yourself up for the knockout. If you get knocked out, just get knocked out. Do not set yourself up for the knockout. Always keep your hands up. Don't set yourself up to get boxed out. That's not what you want to do. That does not work. You stand on your square and keep your hands up. You do not say that. You do not admit that. You just argue your point of view. I have used the work of historians and blah, 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 blah. You never admit defeat. You are grabbing defeat out of the jaws of victory. But see, if you had collaborated and taken your time with this project, or if you had just said, listen, this is not my project. It's not my project. I didn't think of the project to answer the project. I will help coordinate the project for the New York Times, but I am not taking ownership of this project. I am going to bring in a lot of people who know more than me, not just quote them, but understand from them. But that would have taken you coming on board a while ago and stepping back and saying, I'm not going to let my ego I'm not going to let my ego get in charge of this. But because you didn't, everything is in shambles. Oh, it's a lot of shambles in black politics right now. Shambles to the left of me, shambles to the right. All kinds of problems and things that people didn't see coming. We saw it coming. We predicted everything. We saw it all coming. See, this, just like Tom Cotton's coming, everything's coming. And wouldn't his last name be Cotton? Anyway, let me just say, you got the CBC out here. That's the first part, shambles. So you in shambles, you can't even protect your project, and you ain't got nobody to help you do it. You had a natural asset and ally in us, and you didn't even like do the work. You didn't even like use that because of arrogance. Then you got, Lord have mercy, you got the CBC out here. It's all in shambles. Latinos aren't always included in our American story. Now more than ever, it's time to change that. We need a Latino museum in Washington, D.C. Now, mind you, I want you to understand something. Your whole group is in shambles. ADOS at the bottom cast. When you are bottom at the bottom cast, you ain't got nothing else that you can do but advocate for ADOS. At this point, I just believe the little person who I've heard about who runs that page is just in shambles their own self. You and your own version of shambles. Shambles, ladies and gentlemen. What kind of politics is this? Tried to do the 1619 project. She running around, running from all these people. Tom Cotton introduced a bill. Everybody chasing you around. And they chasing you around. And you ain't got nobody to help you with nothing. You just running around by yourself. They just your butt just thrown to the wind. Don't nobody want their butt thrown to the wind like that. That's unnatural. You can't be out there like that. You gotta have. See, the thing is, because where we come from, slavery, Jim Crow, all of that, bottom caste, we're a minority. When we fight, we gotta fight like this. See, the fact that you didn't know we gotta fight like this says a lot about you and what you don't know about what we need to do. You thought you was just gonna run out there and pick up some stuff and these people's gonna leave you alone, especially since you did some stuff in a way that it probably shouldn't have been done without enough girding. If you're gonna say some of the stuff you said, it's gotta have a lot more back in the Cole Hand Jones. Gotta be a lot more time consuming. You gotta do a lot more work. Got to be a lot more books read, a lot more historians and economists talked to. So now it's in what fam? Shambles. And then we got your project in shambles. We got the CBC out here, and they just advocate for everybody else. They just wild by the eye. They don't know what they doing. They just doing whatever comes to mind at any given moment. I don't think they have no rhyme or reason with what they be doing. Shambles. So what else is in shambles, Yvette? Well, let me just say this. Biden's ticket is in shambles. And our black politics is in shambles because of who we supported. Not me, not Adolf, who is on that ticket. Listen, they trying to put Kamala. They talking about putting Kamala on the ticket. But what they realizing is that Kamala's vicious. Now, we told y'all a long time ago, like, you don't know who this person is, they politics. This person went and went and dragged a black woman out of her house over some truancy law, not knowing that her child was sick and what she was going through, taking pictures of the black woman over a truancy law that she done put in place just so she could get attention. She could look like she tough on crime. How do you call Biden tough on crime? And you talk about you was that girl when it turns out that you wasn't that girl. But you said what you said, Kamala. You pulled that black woman out the house. Told the news media to be there. We got that black woman. I think she was in her pajamas when you pulled her out the house. Right, Kamala? Now the Biden campaign is just now realizing you had everybody with you too. Look, Angela Rye thought she was dressed for the White House. She thought she was gone. She had her fits ready. Everybody had their fits for the White House. Child, you'd be lucky to get the VP, to get in the VP office. Everybody was ready. Now it's all what, family? Shambles. Somebody said in the chat, what's up with Karen Bass? I don't think she gonna make it. She might. Prove me wrong, but I just don't think. I think they've been toying with a lot of these people. And I'm going to show you in a second, they've been giving them consolation gifts. Well, you know you're not gonna be the VP, but we got some stuff for you on the way out. You can pick up your little gift bag on the way out. Stacey Abrams, pick up your get bag on the, you went all the way around TV campaigning for yourself, and we gonna give you some snoogadoogles on the way out. Don't ask me what they is. Don't ask me what they is. Y'all let Kamala come in here, and she got prisoners outside fighting fires for $1 or whatever they got paid, and now you wondered, oh my gosh. Well, I don't understand what's going on with Kamala. She said she had no remorse. And well, no remorse for what? Well, remember what she said about Biden? Y'all remember what she said about Biden when she attacked him as being, when she attacked him during the campaign? And he had to defend himself, and she was on the debate stage when they was on there together. Y'all remember that? And she said what she said. I was that little girl, and you busting the da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, now the Biden people don't like it. And she was supposed to come on there just listen, fam, just in terms of politics. You supposed to say, well, I didn't, that might have been a mistake or whatever. She said, child, I don't care. And I don't even know if she knows she said it. This child is vicious. She laughed and said, that's politics. She had no remorse. Dodd, that's who is, Senator Dodd. Dodd told a longtime Biden supporter and donor who relayed the exchange to Politico on the condition of anonymity. Now, Dodd is kind of leading the VP search, to give you some context for that. Dodd felt that it was a gimmick, that it was cheap, the donor said. The person added that Dodd's concern about Harris were so deep that he's helped elevate California Representative Karen Bass during the vetting process, urging Biden to pick her because she's a loyal number 2. And that's what Biden really wants. Through an aide, Dodd declined to comment. Advisors to Harris also declined to comment. They saying, look, she ain't loyal to nobody. You can't do it. We can't have her. She don't got no loyalty. That is what I mean. Listen, family. We said before. We told y'all, listen, it's not even like Obama. We don't know. She's an unknown quantity. And what we know about Kamala isn't good. We said for the most part, she's kind of an unknown quantity, right? In the sense that she's not here as Obama was. He was anchored in whiteness. And that's kind of how we understood him, or how we should have understood him. We should have understood him as being anchored in whiteness. But that's an American whiteness. We don't understand, from all intents and purposes, from everything I see, Kamala has no relationship with her father. And so she's anchored in her Indian mother, right? And we see how she treated or decided to use a black woman as a prop, and the firefighters and all of that, right? So this is an unknown quantity. When she becomes VP, which sets her up for a presidential run, you don't know what she does. She can become ultra conservative. What she's shown us is that we don't understand where her politics are anchored. Her mother was Brahmin. That's a top tier caste in terms of Indian. So we don't know if her politics are anchored in her mother, which would make them opposed to who we are. But what we know about her isn't good, right? That's why all of this is a mess. And we said it first. We said that Kamala isn't ADOS, but her policies, further than that, her policies are anti-ADOS, and she is vicious, and she's not anchored in who we are, and we don't have a thorough understanding of her, as even we did with Obama, right? We called all of this the politics of Kamala. The same problems that they're having trying to figure her out, we called a long time ago. But this is not good for ADOS politics. This is not good for black politics. That they're considering adding her to the ticket, so we have to ramp up and do the same thing we did before. It's almost as if, I'm telling you, I have never seen any kind of politics in shambles like this, where we all recognize it. Like, we've called everything out and we've said the way everything should be. And everybody's going in all kinds of different directions. Don't make no sense. There's no way anybody should be doing anything else other than ADOS right now. None. Nothing else makes sense. So let me go on to the next thing really quick, because I know I said I was going to have everybody on too long today. But this is just nonsensical. Because a lot of stuff has happened. We also predicted that, well, remember the last show I said, well, a few shows ago, I said, I see the writing on the wall. with the 1619 project and all this other stuff. They're trying to give us reparations. This is not how it works. This is what I mean with the politics being messed up. This is not how it's supposed to work. We're not supposed to get. I don't need a Stacey Abrams, just like I don't need a 1619 movie with Oprah and Lionsgate. I don't need Stacey Abrams doing whatever she doing. What is this? All in, fight for democracy. Everybody's getting projects, and these projects are made to look like wins. See, what they're gonna do, fam, is they're trying to substitute fake wins for real wins. So yes, we're not gonna give you anything big. We're not going to give you anything real. We're not going to uproot our institutions. We're not going to uproot our caste system. We're not going to do any of the things that you need systemically to fix your community. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to give you a Stacey Abrams movie. We're going to give you a Lionsgate movie. We're going to give you a we're going to give you a what was it? We're going to give you a Ta-Nehisi Coates movie. We're going to give you a whole bunch of stuff that is not going to be what you need as a community. It's not going to repay the plunder. And the people who have been writing about this, instead of saying, no, I don't want this. I already got my grant or whatever. I don't want this. I don't want this thing. I want to do what I need to do. That's the problem with what Nicole Hannah-Jones always says. She always says, well, I'm a journalist, not an activist. This is not the moment for people to be just journalists. Do you think the people who wrote about lynchings, don't call yourself Ida B. Wells? Because Ida B. Wells went to the scene of lynchings and did what she had to do, reported back and put her life on the line. Please do not call yourself that. Change your name, change your act, change all of that if you are not willing to put yourself on the line. I'm not talking about a Twitter fight. I'm talking about the real fight. If you're not willing to call Ta-Nehisi and say, we're going to go and we're going to get ADOS back on board and we're going to figure this thing out together, please do not call yourself the name of a woman who was heroic, one of our most beloved heroes. Please don't do that. We would appreciate it. Everybody getting movies and doing stuff. That's New York Times in shambles, right? That's the people that we've all heard about, famous people in shambles. The CBC in shambles. What did didn't the NAACP do something stupid? Let me see if I can find that. They put out some what did they do? Yes, here it is. We don't even have any orgs no more. Everything's been converted into something else. Look at this. You can't survive when even your own groups don't even stand up with you and for you. What you gonna do with that? Today we remember Emmett Till, who would have been 79 years old. And as we continue to push forward in the effort of creating a safe America for people of color, we honor those who have paved the way. You too scared to say the name of your own people. You too scared to even call yourself by your own name. You too scared to look in the mirror. You too scared to do that? These people got you that shook? You quaking in your boots like that? I would hate to be quite so shook that you can't say who that was, that you can't say who we are. Because you know when you put colored in your acronym, it didn't mean colored, it meant Negro. You know that, right? Okay. The whole thing is in disarray. From the top to the bottom. And we're going to get to the bottom in just 1 second because it's in disarray too. You know, when was it? The Tulsa Real Estate Fund was announced. And so many people said, Yvette, oh, Yvette, you just being negative. He gonna do it. We're gonna give our $250, $500, whatever it is, and we're gonna make some money and we're gonna invest in this brother. Now it's all kind of allegations out there, and he's saying you can't make no money quick, but I'm swagging rich on a yacht. How? That is so interesting. All these allegations. We told you first he had a bad history. Check it. Antonio did a whole show. Oh my goodness. Like at some point, just say, you know what? If you're measuring by track record, just say these people got a good track record. I'm gonna go with them. So everything that people have been, see, this is what I mean by in shambles. Everything that everybody has been clutching on to is crumbling. Everybody got excited about the Tulsa real estate fund. Everybody got excited about buying one shell's Nike with boys. Everybody got excited about Kamala. Everybody was getting excited about a bunch of stuff that ain't never gonna work. Everybody, we got our own orgs. Well, our own orgs don't even work for us. Everything that people thought was something is nothing. These have all been kind of apparitions and ghosts and phantasms. You know how we talk about the phantasm. There's another online phantasm too. None of this stuff that everybody has been grabbing hold to avoid the work, the political work that we've been doing, none of that stuff is going to work. And we're in the midst of a pandemic, and none of it's going to work. Let me tell you. A few days, you know, there were there were some armed brothers and sisters who had their Second Amendment right, and they were protesting the fact that nobody is, you know, jailed or nothing's going on with Breonna Taylor. That's their right, and I was very careful when I criticized the brother Grandmaster Jay. I was very careful in the sense that I don't like your solution about Texas or whatever. And giving us Texas. This is my country and I want the country. I don't want a state within the country that can barricade us in and do something to us. I was very careful. But I did not call him an agent because I don't work for the FBI or the CIA. So I don't know who is an agent and who is not. I would not call somebody that without evidence. But somebody did. The online political community is in shambles as well because you all have let somebody get away with something that shouldn't be got away with. It's gone too far. It really has gone way too far. So, you know, it's very interesting what people think is going to solve all these problems. Let me just say that. It's very interesting what people think that they can get away with. Now listen, I'm not going to get into it too deep because according to Tariq, he destroyed us anyway. So there's no need for him to ever respond, Tariq Nasheed, because he said we are zombies. Because he will be responding to zombies because he killed ADOS. Remember, that's what he said. So there's no need to talk to me, Tariq, or say nothing to me. I don't want to talk to you ever again, ever in this life. And if you see me cross the street. But let me just say this. It is absolutely wrong. And don't say, well, somebody, one of them let off a gun and injured himself. Well, you should have been there, Tariq. Listen, let me just say something, people. Everybody not holding nobody accountable. If Tariq's whole page is built off of warrior energy, you don't get to sit your big butt home. You get to go out there and do some warrior stuff. I don't know how we get into this space. I don't know why we get into this space where we let people get away with stuff that don't make no sense. Your whole page is about, well, I remember when I said we're 14% of the population, he took that and he said, well, get 14% busy then. But, you know, I see all of these, the warriors versus weakest links. I see all of these kind of things, and that's why I say it's all in shambles. How do you not recognize what is happening? How do you get to call somebody an agent? You ain't got no paperwork. Now that don't mean that he's right or wrong. Listen, there's a way to criticize. He did the same thing with us before the Supreme Court thing. There's a way to criticize somebody without calling them an agent. And you ain't got no paperwork, no way. Don't give me. The man was on his. Somebody sent me a clip of him talking about how when he was in Atlanta, he was telling people where the snipers were. If you don't shut up, you don't know what nobody yet. I was giving everybody intel. See, fam, I was over there and I was like, y'all brothers over there, y'all got to be careful. And y'all got to be, if you're going that way, you got to be careful because that's where they at. I was giving them intel, fam. You know, you can't be but so slow, so long. You can't be but so slow, so long. This man don't have no intel. Stop messing with people who tell you a bunch of stuff they can't prove. People love to talk to us about, y'all just have data. Yeah, you can prove data. You can't prove this man had no intel. just over there saying stupid stuff and you think it's real. And yeah, family, this is what he said. Y'all don't know how many people that I done, y'all don't understand how many people that we done gave money. We done gave money to prosecutors and judges. Wait, what? Wait a minute. The lies have gotten too extraordinary. I tried to ignore it, but the lies are too extraordinary. These are some extraordinary lies. Wait a minute. Now you saying you bribing judges and prosecutors? We done gave bags to judges and prosecutors. See, family, that's what you have to do. Sometimes you have to get a charge. You got to drop a little money off. Now, I'm not saying you haven't donated. I haven't checked the files to it, but that ain't the same thing as dropping a bag off to get some money. And listen, don't give me no forgery. I'm not interested in your forgeries. I'm not interested in no fake videos or nothing, because I know what it is. I'm not interested. It's a lot of stuff I'm not interested in. It's a whole lot of stuff I'm not interested in. I don't want no Ogun juice. I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that. You can leave all of that out of there. I don't want none of the stuff that you're giving me. Because that's not going to solve any of the problems. Ogun, is that a Nigerian god? How do you be FBA and you selling Ogun juice with the Melanoid Nation? Listen, it's not my money. So, by all means, ladies and gentlemen, everybody go and do what they do. This man had the nerve to use Ahmaud Arbery. You remember who Ahmaud Arbery was? You remember how he passed? Them white men and guns and stuff. He said if Ahmaud Arbery had some Ogun juice, he might still be alive. How low will you go to get some money during the pandemic? You already ain't gave the conference money back, and now you out here selling stuff. Now you out here selling pepper spray, overpriced pepper spray, and socks. Listen, I sell shirts. He already sells shirts. Everybody does it. I have no issue with that. You are adding on all kinds of costs of stupid stuff. Now, wait a minute. You said we're going to have the warrior energy, though. You didn't say nothing. With all this stuff you put up, you didn't say nothing about, when you say community policing, you didn't say you was going to police with Ogun juice. You said we got to have the warrior energy. What was you talking about, Tariq? Because now you selling Ogun juice. And everybody lets him get away with it. You got to have some kind of accountability. Don't nobody keep... See, I haven't had that. Antonio and I have never had that kind of rhetoric. Our project has always been a political project. And we have gotten mocked. Well, they don't want to get in the streets. They don't want to get that. They don't want to... That's fine. You can mock me all day long. I don't care. Dusty, musty, rusty. Don't get in the street. I don't care. I don't know you. I don't require your validation. I don't care. But... I have stood by what our project is. It is a political solution to a political problem. But that ain't what you say. In all your videos, you suggest that you always gonna get it popping. And I'm just here to let everybody know you never gonna get Tariq out of his swimming pool. He ain't gonna never do nothing except walk for 10 minutes or stay in that swimming pool. At what point do you wake up and say this is just lowbrow entertainment? He's never going to try to work on anything. There won't ever be any FBA stuff or chap. That's not going to happen. At what point does everybody just come to terms with what real life looks like? See, the thing is, we have existed in this sort of fantastic world. And it's a world where nobody gets held accountable, and we also allow... Like, I don't understand how the people do it. I really don't understand. I would love to hear. If you were Tariq supporter, call me tonight. I want to know how you give money to a man, and then when you say, hey, why don't you go meet with Grandmaster Jay? The man just gives you his butt to kiss and calls you a crackhead. And say you got crackheads in your family. Now, y'all done gave him $120,000 for a conference that's probably not going to happen. Because his conference center has been reconverted into a COVID-19 hospital. And there's an upswing and a surge. So even if you get there, you can't maintain 6 feet. You're going to have the mask on. Even if you did it wouldn't be enjoyable. So at this point, you're just supposed to give people their money back if you care about the people. Now, if you don't care about the people, then you don't care. If you don't care about the people, then when somebody asks you if you're going to get the money back, you make a joke about about having relations with that person's mama. When somebody asks you about, why don't you just sit down with Grandmaster Jay and y'all figure it out, you start making jokes about that's how you let them crackheads back in your family. See, family, we gotta do better. We gotta do better. You can't let them crackheads back in your family. What that gotta do with like what he said? What that gotta do with what was happening? Don't none of that stuff have to do with nothing. Get them people they 120K back. You know, we were supposed to have an ADOS conference, but I'm not going to have you sick. I don't think a leader will want their people to get sick. And so, thought about the virtual conference. I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth your money. I don't think it gives you a good enough experience. But certainly, if your conference has been converted into a COVID-19, listen, they about to cut off this $600 and make it into $2 or whatever they're trying to do. But this stuff is going to get cut. Right? How you holding on to the bag? Why don't you just live off the Ogon juice sales? Don't make no sense. It don't make no kind of sense. Everything is in shambles. Community policing and all that stuff. Then when somebody says, yeah, we actually gonna get in the streets. Well, I tell you what's wrong with getting in the streets. Now, this man don't know what he talking about. He talking about, now I criticize the Texas land, but Tariq has a whole video. Tariq has a whole video about saying the same thing. We should get a plot of land and single mothers shouldn't get none. How you gonna criticize somebody for saying the same junk you said? People so crazy. I'm just gonna tell you something. I don't know whether everybody understands it or not, and that's not my business. But you just can't go onto your YouTube and say bussy, and expect that to lead to some kind of change. Right? I don't know why you seem to be obsessed with the word, but I don't think you can say that and keep telling people that that's going to lead to some kind of transformational politics. And then before that, you tell them we got to get in the streets. But then when people get in the streets, you stay home. We need that kind of energy. That's what you said at first. I like this energy. That's what you said at first when the man came out, the Grandmaster J man. You said that at first. I like this energy until you figured out you wasn't going to lead. Because you have to lead the same thing that happened with you and ADOS. You had to clone it and make it your own and adopt all of our talking points. You know why? Because you want the money. You got to find. Listen, the revolution may not be televised. They may absolutely be true. But there are some people who are determined it is going to be monetized. And every time something comes up, you make an excuse or you go out there for 10 minutes and walk around. Then you say, I will never do no. Remember when we did that? I would never do no meetings. ADOS, they got chapters and meetings. If you have a meeting, that's where the feds show up. If you have meetings, the feds go there. ADOS setting y'all up to be attacked by the feds. Then when he do the thing, when Grandmaster Jaden do the thing, oh, y'all let them know where y'all was. You can't let them know where y'all was. You let them know where y'all is. Then the feds gonna come in. They gonna know. So you can't do it that way. Only thing Tariq has ever said in his whole time is that if you listen to what he's saying, the thing that he's saying is this: the only thing you can ever do is give me your money. You can't do chapter. You can't do politics. Well, you can't get in the street and do your Second Amendment rights. You can't do anything but buy my DVDs and buy my Ojun juice and watch my buck-breaking bussy movies. That is the road to liberation. The only thing that I'm telling you in this moment, family, is that is not the road to any kind of serious liberation. I think those of you who keep telling me, well, Yvette, I just watch it to laugh. I think you're lying to yourselves. If you bought some Ogun juice, I think you are lying to yourself about what you are doing and what you are supporting. There is no plan. Well, we just got to get the culture popping. Well, we got to get in the streets. But somebody was in the street doing the same thing you said and you ain't show up. What was you at? You asleep? You sleepy? Then we said do politics. Well, you can't do no politics, you know. You just got to no vote, no, we're not going to have no chat. What are you going to do? Is anybody going to ask him what he going to do? Or you can't ask him what he going to do and cuss you out and just start roasting you. And then when you start roasting him better than he roasting you, he going to turn off the Instagram. You know, at some point you just have to know that we grown people. And you have to know when to let stuff go. This is in shambles. All this, all the way from Kamala up top to all the way down to the online community. all the way down to online community. This is in shambles. This is not online politics. What is this? This is not real commentary. Something that just talks you. You can't have somebody. You got to hold. See, let me tell you what it's like. The language is important. When you use language like war, I've always said that this is not a war. This is a political project, and that's the wrong language. But when you use that kind of language, when somebody gets out and does stuff, you should try to find a way to be there. It's almost like if ADOS, let's say, we have ADOS chapters and they all doing stuff, right? So let's say we have a chapter, or a few chapters that are really and we get like a big reparations move. That's almost like me saying, "No, I'm gonna stay home and eat a sandwich." How? The only way that happens, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go to break. The only way that happens is if there's no accountability, and you can't have good politics without being able to say, "Y'all would say it to me." If all ADOS was on the street right now, or a bunch of people who were marching or doing whatever about reparations, y'all would say, "Yvette, we need you out here." I don't see why you can't say it to other people. You have to be able to say, okay, you keep everything we put your way, you keep saying no. Everything we keep doing, you keep saying no. Oh, this is a little man with some butter biscuits. I meant to tell you. But if every political project this person says no to, at what point do you begin to understand that they're not interested in politics? They're interested in maintaining a lifestyle. And if you are okay with that, that's one thing. But just don't look to that as some kind of political project. It's not. There are no solutions there. There's just the same kind of redundant, like lowbrow comedy. So I'm sure it's not going to matter, and you don't need to say nothing to me, because you ended us, you finished us. I must have disappeared and evaporated, and that's fine. You don't have to answer me, Tariq. I don't care about you. I still, for some reason, care about some of the people who like get invested in you, and they were really upset. I saw a bunch of comments that like somebody was like, he deleted a bunch of them things. So, but if you're upset, you have to let it go. You can't be upset and then come back next week every time. Now you get a chance to give people second and third chances, but at a certain point, you just can't come back. And that's just where we are. And I think everybody has to understand, like being insane is like doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Just like you can't go through this thing and let the NAACP do this people of color stuff, and let the CBC do this stuff where they ignore us. You can't let the people in this online community do stuff and just keep telling you a lie and then say, "Well, I would do something like that, but this right here, it ain't the right way and the right time. You gotta." I was telling people what the snipers was. At a certain point, you just gotta realize when you're being lied to. Okay. And if we can't do that, then I don't know how we move into the next phase of life if you don't know when somebody is blatantly telling you a lie. So anyway, fam, I said I was going to keep it short, so I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to go to break, come back, and we will have the conversation. back, fam. We are back. I let the break not be as long as usual. Wow, because I wanted to be able, like I said I was going to do, keep my promise. We was going to get in a little bit and have a shorter show. So I am trying to keep my promise. So anyway, I'm going to my first call. I'm going to 510. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, Yvette. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well. Just trying to get through this pandemic, probably like the rest of us. I just wanted to thank you and Tone. I keep you guys in my prayers for the work that you're doing. I so appreciate it. It's so worthy of being appreciated, and I can't say thank you enough for doing it.
Oh, thank you, fam. I appreciate that.
I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just have a quick inquiry and a couple of comments. I wanted to know if you and Tone have ever considered adding like an ADOS small business directory to the website. I'm aware that there are a number of Black business directories. But, I think especially after reading our book club book for this week, it's really become abundantly clear that the umbrella sort of term of Black is insufficient, and I think that we really need our own separate classification that's specific to us in terms of business. And so, I don't know, I wanted to hear your thoughts about what you would think about something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's not another project I would be wanting to take on right now. I understand why you're saying it though, but I just wouldn't be willing to take it. I think the better thing though is to kind of, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that on Thursday. I keep trying to give away stuff. I'm talking about Thursday.
Okay. I know you guys have so much on your plate, and so I definitely wouldn't, even suggest that it's something, for you guys to take on by yourselves, but I just think it's something that we should think about as a collective and maybe what that would look like, because, I know that our GDP as a group is actually quite large, and so I think that the more of that we're able to direct internally, the better. And, when I say direct internally, I mean specifically to ADOS, not just Black. And aside from that, I'm frankly just not very interested in patronizing non-ADOS Black businesses. I wish I could say that it's, nothing personal, but honestly, it kind of is. When I say it's personal, just to provide a bit of context for what I mean, I'll give you a brief narrative, but there's a beauty supply that I used to frequent, and it's owned by these Nigerian ladies, and they're nice enough, I guess, but when I was there the last time, the thought did cross my mind, did their ancestors sell mine? And it's possible, but when I viewed the transaction from that perspective, it just struck me as so grossly inappropriate. And it was just this visceral, gut reaction, and I was so uncomfortable. I was like, I can't patronize this business anymore. And so when I say it's personal, I think it really is, because that is an exclusively ADOS experience, right? And so I think, obviously no one is subject to the same dynamics or encounters that we are as a country. But to go back to my initial point, that's kind of why I was thinking as an ADOS specific business directory for just, our businesses and services, because, I think non-native or foreign Blacks, however you want to classify them, even if their ancestors didn't, sell ours here, I think that to some extent they've all participated in our oppression, and so I think that
I wouldn't go that far. I think, and I'm going to discuss this on Thursday. I think one of the things that has to happen, though, I think I'll say this part, one of the things that the book kind of showed me is just all Black immigrants, these stories are vastly different. And so they have to be broken up in vastly different ways. Even when that story came out that what was it, in 23andMe, that we come from the more of us as ADOS are Nigerian, and I think part of the problem with that is like we just can't say Nigerian. No, like we have to say like no Osu,
Sure,
like
sure.
the slaves. Like
Sure.
we are related to to their slaves, and like not like
Sure.
the elite, but the slaves. So I think we have to something that we have to do that we'll discuss is that we have to kind of break that down even more. We have to understand who
Yeah.
did what.
I totally agree with that. And when I say participated in our oppression, I'm not saying it in the sense that they have some sort of malintent to us, all of them in their hearts, that it's conscious. I mean in the sense that the way that they've been used in this country to oppress us, in terms of just replacing us and things like that.
Okay.
But really, I guess the root of what I'm trying to get to is I think that we need to, as much as we can, separate ourselves. And you guys really did an awesome, you and Tone, with establishing the whole ADOS, terminology and just classification for us. I think that has been great so far. But as much as we can sort of separate ourselves, the better. And I think it's interesting because we're often called, divisive, right?
Yeah.
But I think that when you look at our position in this country and you see the disparities that disproportionately impact really every facet of life, and you see the fact that we've been cut off from participating as full-fledged citizens, as you said so many times on the show, I think when you look at those things and you take into consideration the work that ADOS is like really attempting to do to remedy those circumstances, and you see the opposition to that work, I think it really just begs the question of, who is really trying to maintain a divide here? I don't think we're divisive. I think we're not divisive. I think we've been divided, and I think we've been cut off from the American life that everyone else, has been, for the most part, had access to and been able to participate in. And so I think people sort of who portray us that way are really interested in maintaining that divide because it profits them, whether they're cognizant of it or not, at some level, to some extent.
Thanks, Carla.
But yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Sorry.
No, thank you, Carla. I appreciate it. I got to keep moving now. Let me go to 253. 253. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette. This is C from Washington State. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself? How you been?
I've been staying off, being low key, staying off grid, and really listening to you and Tone. And I'm gonna be honest with you, sis. I left a rally down, a protest down in Portland, and last night. But the bottom line is this: the elections coming up in 2020. I personally feel we can all take a down ballot attitude towards this, and it's your choice. But I was wondering if there's a possibility, getting closer to the election point, whatever candidates are selected, that will you be willing to have that conversation with us? The pros and cons. Because you have such a rich political advantage over me. I can only speak of myself. That it'll help me. I really don't want to do a down ballot situation this year. I really don't, unless I have to. Mm-hmm. And it seems to me with Joe Biden in the market, everybody wants to throw a black woman in charge. Just throw one in there. Just throw one in there. I'm not sure about that. I agree with you. That's just too much of an easy cop out to me. I mean, I like to see a black woman in, but I want the white black woman to take the job as VP. So I was wondering, maybe down the road in one of your shows, when it gets closer to election time, can you go over some of the picks so that we can be better informed?
Some of the picks like who? Some of the picks like who? Like the VP candidates?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, see, it's
a no-win deal either way. If you down ballot, Trump gets the vote. If you don't vote, Trump gets the vote. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think
I'm going with all this. I'd rather just.
Well, see, the thing is, I hear you, but I don't agree with your tactics, so I just can't do it.
Okay. Well, I can't ask you.
Yeah,
I can only ask you because I have a lot of respect. I've been listening to you for close to a year, And I am over 60, and I've been out here talking to the young protesters, the young people out here. I've been out here on the streets myself, and you help me understand the difference between just being black and it's about lineage. This is the key here, is lineage. Yeah. So I just want to call and ask you that insight, and that's all I'm saying. So
no, I appreciate it. But for me, caller, it's not a call. It's not like a vote down ballot is a vote for everybody else except Biden. It's not a vote for Trump. Like so that's where I am, right? And the thing is, like most white, like the thing is, most white people still are still gonna vote for Trump, like. And you know, in terms of the polling right now, and so y'all need to hold them accountable. Stop looking to us. No, hold them accountable. They still gonna vote for this man. We got a pandemic that's running wild like a little Muppet baby. It's running the streets like a little Muppet, and don't nobody care. And he just now started wearing a mask, and y'all still gonna vote for that man. Listen, people don't look to me because they finna go and cast a ballot for him. What I'm trying to do is tell Democrats till they get us right. I see the thing is, all Democrats gotta do. All they got to do is put together a serious reparations plan. We'll help them do it. Put together a serious reparations plan and add it to your. It's so simple. Like, you could get us on board. It's so simple. But if you won't do the simple thing to have me, then you just won't have me. Like, you just won't have me. I'm not doing that thing where we got to go. We got to get what we can get right now and do what we can get right now. And this is all we can get right now. They've been right nowing us to death for 400 years. I'm not with it no more. I'm gonna go vote because there are other people on the ballot and there are other initiatives and propositions on the ballot that need to be voted for, that I gotta show up for. And there are some people I gotta show up against and vote them out. There are some people I can't stand. So I gotta go to do both things. But I'm not going to give this man who was such a part of this mass incarceration state. He didn't start it or finish it, but he was such a part of promoting it and putting roller skates on it. Biden is not getting my vote. That just will not happen with me, and I'm holding on to my guns with that one.
Yeah, it seems like it's a darn if you do, and you're darn with, you know what I'm saying? We're just in this no-win situation all the way around. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. Thanks for letting me call in,
no problem.
You have a good evening.
Appreciate it, fam. I appreciate the question, fam. I can't, like somebody said in the chat, oh, Jim Crow Joe. Nah, that's who you was, and then I can't even believe like the Democrats gave us. That's what y'all gave us? Like, with everything that's going on, that's what y'all gave us? Y'all gave us, Jim Crow Joe, huh? Because you're still trying to get the white vote and you're trying to pull that away from Trump. Well, it's not going to work. I'm not with it. So anyway, I won't be responsible for it. If it happens, it won't be me that's responsible for it. Y'all need to put some stuff on that platform that's reparations, and you not just HR 40, reparations with a specific number attached to it. It has to have a number. Right? That has to happen. And again, my DMs are open, my phone line's open. You can call me, reach out. We can do it. But I'm not doing this stuff where everybody gets everything except ADOS. That just will not fly. 980, I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello?
What's going on, 980? Hello?
Let me tell you something, Yvette. My name is Levi. I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm going to tell you, you changed my life. I'm 26 years old, and I'm going to tell you, my big sis, Yvette Carnell, is gangster. Okay?
That's what's up.
She be on it 24/7, telling these people about themselves, fighting for her people, putting her life on the line. Selfless. I love it, and I love my brother Antonio more, too.
Aww. Thank you, fam. I appreciate that. I gotta tell them about themselves. Who else gonna tell them about themselves if I don't do it?
Nobody. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell you, you're doing the work of God, and I want you to stay motivated, stay encouraged, and keep fighting for us. Because I'm telling you, I got a family, I got a young son, I got a young wife, and we out here struggling in the midst of COVID. Yeah. And in the midst of you fighting for us and giving us this information, knowledge, you know what I'm saying, equipping us, you are raising up a generation of that. You are literally doing that. You're raising up a generation of people that now know what they are meant to do, purpose, plan, all that. And so I love it, man, and I appreciate your life.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. And that's what we're supposed to do for each other. Like, each generation, each group builds on the other group, builds on the next one. That's what you're supposed to do. You ain't supposed to just come into this life and look out for self. You're supposed to come into this life and figure out, like, okay, like, and I don't have kids, but I still think, like, okay, what do I do in this space that makes it easier or for the next generation to survive and thrive. Not just survive. We've been surviving on nothing for long enough. Like, how do we thrive? How do you build it? And I think, it's funny, people talk to me about a lot of stuff, and I see a lot of people who are interested in a lot of money and stuff. And wealth is important. We talk about wealth. That is absolutely important. But at the position where we don't have nothing, like, you have to ask yourself, what are you going to sacrifice for the next generation to have something? Like, if you don't have nothing, you say, okay, what do I need to get for the next generation to have something? Not, that has to be the question. And I think that has to be the question that everybody asks. That's what our ancestors asked. That's why we're here. That's why we're here right now looking at computers and watching live chats. Nobody could. The fact that, I've said this before, fam, but let me just say it again. The fact that we're here, like looking at the live chat and we can talk to each other and talk about who we are and where we come from, that's a miracle in and of itself. We were supposed to just be tools to be used to do a certain thing. We were not supposed to still be here living lives. Now the next step is, how do we get our due, and how do we make up for that plunder? How do we get what we're owed? That's the next step, and all the policies that come with it. There are all kind of steps that go with this. So I thank you, fam. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. And I just want to say one more thing before I get off this call. I know how you move, and I know there's other people that want to talk to the queen. I'm telling you, this brother, Tariq Nasheed, man, I'm telling you, he's just out there doing all types of mess. They talking about they ain't gonna get him out of his pool. He want to talk about this man and these guns, you know what I'm saying, and all this stuff, while he out here selling old goon juice. And I saw that, and when he said that about Ahmaud Arbery, my whole body shook. I was mad.
It was awful.
I was mad. I was like, what the hell? Why would that come out of your mouth?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But that just shows you how disconnected he is from the actual purpose of this time and the season that we're in right now. He is so disconnected.
Yep. Thank you, fam. I agree with you. I think what happens too, like, as we get older, I'm 45. I think Tariq is 51, and that's why it was interesting to me when he said the stuff that he said. When he said the stuff that he said about cause I saw the whole Instagram clip. Somebody sent me to YouTube. Well, he said the stuff. We don't need no old men in here in this movie. We need no. Oh, you 51, my dude. Like we both middle aged. What you mean? Like stop walking around like you 25, and like you have the swag of a 25-year-old. Like, I don't think there's a lot of us who just, like, as you grow older, you have to have a mirror. And you have to let young people have what is for them. Now, it's fine if you say, listen, my knees hurt, my foot ain't right, I'm not going to be out there or whatever. But you can't pop off like this and pop off, and then when it comes time, well, you see what had happened was, just kind of own your space in the world and stop the tough talk. And just tell people, listen, I'm kind of just an on-screen personality. I'm here to kind of make you laugh with these jokes and and stuff that's really offensive. I saw he went in on Michi because she went in on him, and rightfully so. But he went in on her just about looks. Like, stop doing that. And if you're going to, like, stop going in on, like, we're not 15. The last time I really had something like that and heard something like that where people was like, when I was still in high school, you're 51. Like, act like it. Like, act your age. Be a grown man. Like you have kids. Be grown. Like, set an example. Like, don't just this stuff. Well, she said this and she got this kind of body. I don't know what kind of body you have either. Like, and it don't matter. You a grown man. She a grown woman. Like, people don't get, like, only kids roast each other. Oh, he got long legs, and oh, look at his toes. He got, like, what the heck is going on in the world? That this is what we listen to. But anyway, I'm going to the next caller. I am going to 734. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? Turn your background down.
Up, am I down? Am I good?
I think you did it. What's going on, fam? How you doing?
What's happening, Yvette? This is Pat Al, the chairman in the chat. So happy to finally get in contact with you. And like everybody else, I just want to thank you for the work that you've been doing.
Thank you,
all the information I've gotten from you guys has gotten me through Corona, gotten me through living in Flint. And I don't think we did any Ogun juice to tell us that we're warriors, like you always say, and we should take pride in our lineage. But I did want to tell you about an experience today I had. Can you hear? And let me know if you can hear me good.
I can hear you fine, fam.
Yeah, I got a poll today on the phone.
Okay.
So you know, the pollers call you, and they wasn't ready for that ADOS talk.
Ooh, what you said
So,
to him?
you know, hey, who you voting for? You picking Joe Biden? Nope. You picking Donald Trump? Nope. Are you voting? Yep, I'm voting down ballot. And when I got to explain, she wanted the reasons why, and I mentioned ADOS, her phone cut off. She couldn't. I missed that part. What did you say?
No, I was just laughing. I didn't say nothing fair. I was just giggling.
I'm saying that's what she said. Once I mentioned ADOS, she had phone difficulties.
Oh.
so I just let her know. I'm like, I'm not. I can't deal with his history. It's unacceptable. We got a little bit of more integrity than he thinks. It's unfortunate that this is our choices. But we spotted owls out here. We spotted owls and snow leopards, and just picking Joe Biden because he's not Trump is not enough. So I just want to say I got much love for the ADOS family. Flint is all right.
Is it?
You can send money. We don't need any more bottled water.
Okay.
Just send some more money.
Okay. He said, yep. Let people get what they want.
And I live in the city. No township at the end of my stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, just you got to keep up what you're doing. I listen. I'm going to get cussed out, but I listen to Tariq, and it makes me laugh. But that's about what I take away from it. And I completely understand, but I know as much as I email you and send you stuff every day and then trying to get it in the newsletter, you know, it's all ADOS 100% of the time. So
well, and the thing is, fam. Well, for me, it's different. Like for me, I don't even find him funny most of the time. Like I laughed at him though. Like I'll be honest, I did laugh at him when he started shaking the Ogun juice. So this is what we need, family, the Ogun juice, and this is what we need.
Right.
I did laugh. I laughed at him because I was like, this is some funny stuff. But what I say is that, so I think there are better comics. Like you go on Netflix, I think that, but let me just say this. But the second part about it is this. I don't think most people can separate the two. I think most people lie about being able to separate the two. Like they say, well, it's just for comedy. But then they'll bring me some stuff that's political that aligns with like something that he said. You got to be crazy if you think Tariq was knowing what snipers was or that he's bribing prosecutors. He done made up something like it come out the wire or something. Like, and even Stringer Bell couldn't bribe the people. Remember Stringer Bell tried to do that and the man took advantage of it? Like,
you have to get that high ride bill.
Yeah, like you done took something off TV and you telling these Negroes that like they don't know no better. And that's not the same as like a donation to a politician. Like you can bribe, but you don't have enough to like for a real like through those channels, right? Through like a real donation. You talking like, don't you think we be slipping money? No, Negro, that's an episode of The Wire. You ain't did that. You watch too much TV. And it's just kind of crazy to me. Like people take that and be like, man, Reek be giving money. And it's just like, are y'all crazy? No, he don't. You get arrested for that. That's illegal. He did that. He ain't never put himself in jeopardy in that way. What are you talking about?
Right.
So I want to thank you. Thank you, fam. But he just wants to make it look like he's doing something. like, see, sometimes, thank you, fam. I appreciate it. You have to make up a story that makes it look like you're doing something, right? So the story is, I was telling them what a snipers was, and I be dropping bags on the porches of DAs, and wait a minute, you be giving district attorney to get some charges, and Negro, shut up. You're just making stuff up to make it look like you did something. And please don't give me no, please again, I'm not interested in your forgeries or nothing like that. Like, you know, everybody can look at the report to see what you gave to a politician, but that ain't the same thing as dropping a bag of money to get a charge, and you know it. You just fooling Negroes. I'm tired of people fooling Negroes. Be too gullible sometimes. Anyway, let me go to my next call. I am going to 314. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I'm just going to give you my Twitter name. It is absolutely nobody. I am Mr. A Nobody. I'm the guy who has the black profile picture and the blue background.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a specific reason I keep that account anonymous. I'm one of the no faces, so, you know, but it's all good. So here's the thing. I really love what you talk about when you talk about framing. Framing is everything. I got a little bit of sociologist in me, so that is very important. And I'm going to tell you, I used to be the type, the compartmentalized Tariq. All right, like I didn't use him for politics. I used you and Tone, and even Irony. Like, but what happened was Tariq. He had the 3-strike thing going on. Like I heard him say some problematic things, but the first thing for me was the way he reacted to Nipsey Hussle's death. That man ran his butt down there on Crenshaw Road, running around like as soon as it happened, this man's body wasn't even cold. Rest his soul. He ran down there talking about, oh man, look like, from what it sounded like it was an assassination by the government. Like, dude, you implying all kind of stuff that's going to get people riled up and in trouble. Like, cuz, slow down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there was people on the streets hot
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They was looking for,
And
yeah.
then-
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then after that, it was, and like I said, I compartmentalized. I look at it like, okay, just, how Tariq is, just chill out. You know what I'm saying? But then it was his reaction to the Adolf, when Tone initially corrected him.
Yeah. On the
about
opportunity
whole Trump
zone.
thing. His initial reaction to it. And it was like, I see Tariq trying not to go too hard because he knows the wave is with us and he knows he's going to damage himself if he goes a little bit too hard. So, okay, let me just hear the man out, whatever. But then the third thing that was like the final, that made me unfollow him and stop messing with him, is when he came on talking about Yvette Carnell and Breaking Brown and ADOS and shills for Democrats. Like, come on, fam.
Yeah.
Shills for Democrats, really?
But
Have you listened to the show?
But you know what he said though? Fam. He says the same thing he always says. Like it's always kind of murky how fam. Because somebody sent me a screenshot from his Facebook, and on his Facebook he was like, "Fam, it was some stuff I didn't want to tell y'all. I came across some information that they all shields for Democrats, and I didn't want to tell y'all. I was trying to protect Adolf." And it was just like you just made all of this up. Everybody who's ever watched us knows that we get in like I have gotten more bad mail and DMs from people who are saying, why are you always going on Democrats? And I say, because they're the ones who are supposed to be representing us and they get most of our vote. But like that's
Not
who I
that
go
hard
in.
to understand.
Yeah, this is like, dude, you didn't watch enough Breaking Brown to actually make up the lie that you needed to make up. Like if you had watched I know you watch me because you come up and you steal all my stuff, the Kumbaya, the Black Brown Coalition is a con. That's all my language. So I know you watch me because you use my language and you copy it. So if you watch me, you would know that like that doesn't fly.
Right. Yeah, I've been watching since since the boys' days. But I knew Tariq even before that. And just like, I just want to say to everybody out there who may be still FBA and all that, look, man, it's discernment. You just need discernment, man. It may be, okay, so you want to laugh at them, fine, whatever, but come on, man, you got to know who you're listening to. You fill your head with too much stuff. The problem is some of that's going to seep through. So, yeah, you can try to compartmentalize, but at some point, you're going to get confused, man. Unless you're in one of these chapters doing this real work, shout out to the chat and all the chapters. Unless you're doing that, you're going to get confused. So, I just wanted to leave it at that, man. Love the show. Been listening forever. Keep it going.
Appreciate it, fam. Appreciate it. And I appreciate your honesty, too. I appreciate your honesty. Because I think a lot of people think that they can compartmentalize it, like it's just about the humor, but it's just like, nah, because what he does is that he slips a bunch of other stuff in there, right? So you can say, yeah, it's just about the humor, but then he slips other little stuff in there, like, right? So so and somebody's a bad body, this or whatever. Child, we middle age, somebody gonna be bad bodied and you bad body too. Like, so this just what it is at this age. Like, stop, let it go. Like, leave that stuff alone. Be grown people. And I think sometimes when you watch people who refuse to age, that's like a trigger for me. Like, if I see a young person, I think of that, like, even though I don't have kids, how I see myself is that could be my daughter or that could be my son. So, like, I even have problems with certain kind of music. Now I see how people have problems with certain kind of music because you want to bounce to it. Like you hear like a song come on and you want to bounce to it. You hear the lyrics and you want to wag your finger. You hear Meg Thee Stallion come on, I'm a savage. bad, bougie, and you be like, oh, that's good. You be like, wait a minute, Megan, and you be like, I'm old enough to be your mama. What is it you rapping about? I just heard some bad things on here, right? And so it's kind of like you have to move into the space of like, I'm grown, and grown people don't roast other grown people on like their bodies, like we grown, and we're gonna talk and discuss ideas in terms of how we move politically. We're not in 9th grade. We're not in 8th grade. And so we have to move accordingly. That is just what it is. But I like the beat of the song. It's a nice song. And there's a nice little rap in there too. I'm savage. Anyway, let me go to the next call. I'm going to 336. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? 336? Turn your background down.
Hello, how are you?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good. This is ADOS Jonathan Petty out of Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm a first-time caller. And I want to say thank you to you and Tone. I work third shift in the convenience store, so I come across a lot of different ADOS people. And I'm always listening to Breaking Brown or Tone Talks while I'm working.
Okay.
And if people come in and they say, well, why aren't you listening to that black science that you listen to? Why aren't you listening to it tonight? I said, well, right now I'm busy, so I have to listen to it in between breaks.
Okay.
But most of the time I just turn it on and leave it on. And when white people come in, they say, man, you don't even turn that down. I said, why should I? They need to be educated too. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank Tone for what you do. I'm 57 years old, and this is my new education. And I guess I've always been a radical my whole life, but I kind of came to a standstill because so much was going on. I've experienced racism at many different times in my life, especially as far as jobs are concerned here in the South. And I've always gone around with certain books and read and stuff like this. And I was reading some Pan-Africanist history, and I stopped and I said, there's got to be more. And I realized one night after seeing on YouTube on my TV your picture and the caption of it, and I see something with Tone and the caption, and I started getting curious. Who are these folks? I said, like some radicals. So I decided to turn your show on one night, and this has been about 6 months ago.
Okay.
And it has reopened my mind to infinite possibilities of the ADOS family.
Okay.
And I'm extremely proud to say that I give people this information that come in the store to ask. I said, well, go to ADOS101.com and understand what the movement is about. This is an institution. We are an institution. This is our country. And we should give it up to no one. I've spoken to Africans about it, and some of them would try to speak down to me, like I didn't know, especially the Nigerians. So I asked them, are you over with Dalia? And they would look at me, real funny. I said, well, you got nothing to say? What, cat got your tongue? I said, talk to me. I said, don't try to talk F to me if you don't know the history of our people in this country. Not your people, maybe people that you sold to the slave masters to bring here to work. But our history here, you are here on the backs of our people. You are progressing because of us. So don't stand here and try to talk some jive to me about what you're doing and about what we're missing out on. You are taking advantage of what is meant for us. And if you don't understand our history, then you can't talk to me. Now, again, I want to thank you and Tone because I'm learning anew. I've got 7 books on order, and I go back several years of your podcast. And again, I want to thank you and Tone for your fire.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it.
And I tell people that if you can't deal with it, then you got to go. Because this is real history.
This is.
And I've met with several older ADOS people, and I speak to them about this. and I speak to them about their local politics, the CBC, and what they haven't done for us, the NAACP, and what they haven't done for us. What's that other one?
He said, "What's Urban League? What you talking about? Which one you talking about?"
With
Mark Maria's Urban League. Yep.
Yeah, the Urban League, and what they haven't done for us. All they're about is getting the bag. So they get upset because I put it in their face. You know, and then they well, you must not be Christian. What's Christianity got to do with our position in this country now? I said, you think you got it going on, but what have you done for other black folks that's out here struggling, that's suffering from COVID, that's living over here in these motels across from this store? You haven't done anything. But you can go around in your Mercedes and stand around and shine it and polish it when you come to the store and walk around there and look like I got it going on. Nigga, what have you got going on when your people are suffering? I know you're a bottom caste. You're living on this side of town, the southeast side of town, but you won't go to the northeast side, the northwest side of town, and see how they really living and how you should be living. Don't you think that your people should be living the way that they're living? Do you understand what you've missed out on?
Absolutely, fam. Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna let you go, but I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate the call. I appreciate it. And you know what he said about the Nigerian? I think elite Nigerians will fall out if, like, remember what I said earlier about the Osu, right? And those are the slaves over there, and we come from the slaves, and we the slaves over here, like, and our blood and all that. I think they would, our DNA. I think they would fall out if they came to say, oh, we're black just like you, and we said, oh, you Osu like us, like, and it's like, we were like. Like the fact that like we understand, like I think that the fact that we understand, like these two things are closer to be the same, and based on the 23andMe, it's not just like one Nigeria. It's a caste. It's a class. It's a strong class system there. Not necessarily. I don't know if it's a caste, but it's a strong class system there with slaves and like you also no. Nah. So anyway, fam, let me go to the next caller. I am going to 702. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi there, Miss Yvette.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm calling from Las Vegas. How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful. I just want to start this call giving you all thanks and praise and much gratitude to you and Antonio Moore.
Thank you.
For the political education that you are teaching black people, as well as white people, because I got white folks watching you too.
I appreciate it.
and they stay on y'all, so like they are interested in what you're talking about. So anyway, but I want to cover three things tonight, and it's gonna be real fast, unlike a lot of other callers. They
be going on, though.
So the first thing I want to tell you is that I put this in your the chat a while ago, like last week when you had a show.
Okay.
And I am not a religious person. However, in Psalms 118:22, it says the stone that which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. So I think about you and your Howard situation, and I just want to tell you that you are that chief cornerstone. So there's that. The second thing I want to tell you is, I'm sure you probably already know this about Tom Cotton, but he did challenge the D.C. statehood, which I thought was really interesting because he compared D.C. to Wyoming and basically said Wyoming is full of productive people, but D.C. ain't shit.
Yeah, language. Yeah, I saw that. He said something like they cut down trees or some junk, and it's just like. He's telling you, like, he's honestly telling the people who work for him that, like, you're worthless because you do the work of government. The work of government is important work, but that's kind of what these people want you to believe. It's just like the work of government isn't the work. No, that's the work of the country. Like, everybody who works for government should be proud of it. I don't know what kind of nonsense this is that people have people being.
How do people get their mail?
Yeah,
that's black people moving that mail.
How you get your Social Security check? How do people get that Social Security check without government? Let government shut down tomorrow and see the little elderly people in the street with their canes. How do you
right.
even if you talk about military, how do you, like, they claim to love the military. There's a whole bureaucracy around the military. Like, he's just this propagandizing problem. And I just, part of the reason I brought him up at the beginning of the show is that I need people to see him coming and know that like this is bigger than Trump.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna get it. If he gets the number, he's not gonna mess up. He's not Trump. Like he's not like this egotistical, whatever Trump is. He's not that.
Right.
He's gonna be fine. So you gotta look beyond.
Also concerning him, which is really interesting, is that I'm a teacher here in Las Vegas, and I want to tell y'all that the state from which he represents, 60% of his third graders can't read. They can't read on third grade level. I want you to think about what the words are that you read in third grade. They are high frequency words. The, at, and. 60% of the children in Arkansas are reading below grade level. And this man went to Harvard. So I find it really interesting that he's up there talking about history. They can't read history if they reading it at, a second grade level and they're third graders. So there's that. And the last thing I want to say is about Tariq Nasheed. He seems to say a lot of negative things just about black women in general, instead of being, like you were saying, an elder. That man's at the age that he should be an elder. So he should be saying things that uplift, our cultural situation, but I don't find that. So he's always talking, and you mentioned something about in the show where he said that he was going to get some land and the single mothers couldn't show up.
Yeah, he said that years ago, but he never.
So
Let me say one thing. People always say, "Well, that was a long time ago." But yeah, it was a long time ago. But you never said that. Like, I don't agree with that. That I said that when I was young. You never said that. You never said. So if you don't correct it, I'm just gonna say it is what it is. Because I came up on this thread before I blocked him, and I said, what do you have to say about this? And he just kind of made like lame jokes. It's just very lame, and you too old for this. Like your next decade birthday will be 60. Like you're too old for this.
Right. I mean, if he's going to say something along those lines, then maybe, like for instance, when Nipsey Hussle died, on my Facebook, I was asking black women what the legal implications are of being a baby mama as opposed to being a wife. Now, there's real estate there's estate taxes that you get hit with when you're not married to somebody and you have children with them, and they leave you money.
Okay.
That's how I framed it. He framed, I'm not going to invite the single mamas but here's what I have to say about that, and then I'm going to go.
Okay.
I am a teacher, but on the side, I have a business. And my business is that I'm a loan signing agent. So basically, I show up to close when all these people that have mortgages, when they want a home equity line of credit. That's what I do on the side. Okay. And I want y'all to know that white women who are single mamas still show up to close on houses with other people's money. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Yvette.
Thank you. I appreciate a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of stuff going on. But I think that's a great call to end on, fam, especially since I promised to get us out of here today. Do not fret. We have 3 shows this week. 1 today, Wednesday, and do not forget, family, on Thursday, we will be having a discussion on this book. I'll try to make my part brief so y'all can get in here. And I can have a discussion with you as opposed to going so long myself. I'm always trying to self-correct. So as opposed to going so long myself in the beginning, I will hit on the points that I thought stood out most about the book. And then I will have a discussion with you, hopefully for at least an hour and probably hour and a half. So make it 2 hours with maybe a half hour with me, and then use some of my points for an hour and a half with you. That way we can get a lot of it in. If we need another day, we will do it, but I don't know if we will. But if we do, we'll cross that bridge when we shall get there. So that is what it is, fam. Please do not forget. Please do not forget, fam, to hit that like button. It costs you nothing if you still hit that like button. Go to donatebrown.com if you want to donate. Patreon.com/ycarnell. ADOSmerch.com. But that like button costs you nothing. Hitting that bell to get notifications, because I hear people. I hear that what's happening is people are getting notifications going. People are getting unsubscribed. All kind of stuff is going on. So please, family, if you can, it's absolutely free to kind of check your notifications. Make sure you're still set. I know sometimes it just doesn't send them either, right? But please just take the time to check your notifications, to check your bell, to make sure you're still set up to get notifications. If you have not subscribed to the show, also take the time to actually subscribe to the show. Now, it is time for you to finish your libation and get to bed. We had a quicker show today, so it's time for you to finish your libation and get to bed. And we will get together again on Wednesday and have another conversation, family. Finish your libation. Don't be a problem to nobody. Get some rest, engage in self-care, and still wear your mask. See you next time, fam.